In today's video, I just want to give you a quick update regarding my planned interview with Chris Gilmore from Vintage Breaks. Now, you would have seen in my last video and in Sports Card Radio's YouTube Live on the 86 Flea that this interview was planned. To give you a bit more context, Chris Gilmore reached out to me, who's the guy from Vintage Breaks who had the pack issue, reached out to me because he wanted to have a chat and set things straight. I was out of town, so I couldn't facilitate that. He ended up making his own video, which is the one that, had the "You Dip Daniel." So I just want to give you an update. That's not going ahead, but he did reach out to me via Instagram again to clarify a few things. Now, the reason why there was a delay since those 2 points between now and basically when the event occurred was because he's been dealing with some personal things, some health-related stuff that I'm not going to delve into out of respect for him. But he did want to clarify a few things. If you would have seen in my last video, I touched on the whole Sports Card Scammers Facebook group, how he was an admin and posts were getting deleted. And it looked like at the time that Chris was the one deleting them. He's come out and now said, no, it wasn't him deleting them. He basically, as soon as he saw those were getting deleted, he replaced himself. He left the group. I mentioned in that video, he may have been kicked out of the group by the other admins. Chris is saying he left himself. So I guess that's a tick in the box for him. The other thing I want to quickly touch on as well is that Chris does acknowledge that, he should have used his wide angle lens or shot in that particular video, because from his story, from his perspective, he is still saying, that he didn't try to steal that pack. Basically, what he did was he saw damage and then replaced it. Now, if you watch the Sports Card Radio video and my recap of that, there are lots of holes in this story, and I think Chris and, Vintage Breaks acknowledge this. Like I said in my last video, if Chris is telling the truth, we sort of have no proof of that, and it's really hard to believe him just given what we've seen in that particular video. If he would have used that wide angle shot like he does acknowledge in his message to me, maybe you would have seen him identify the damage off camera. For whatever reason, he didn't say anything, which I think is really, really silly on his part. If it is true, and you would have seen him put it aside, but it's not there. So you just wanted to clarify, those 2 points. I did let him know that if he still does want to have a chat and explain himself a bit further, I'm more than happy to put that up on my channel or do it in private and do a recap on my channel if that is what he wants. But we'll play it by ear. I think at the end of the day, both he and Vintage Breaks want to forget about this. Like I said in my last video, the Sports Card Radio video is very, very damning. It almost speaks for itself, so it's really hard to argue against. And like I said in that video, if you are a breaker, this is why you need to protect yourself at every cost with regards to your camera setup. Make sure nothing leaves the frame. Make sure everything is captured within the room, your hands, the packs, everything, because, Chris might be telling the truth in this instance. I think it's a little hard to believe him based on what we've seen. But the point is, if he is telling the truth, the camera setup has let him down, and he has acknowledged that the camera setup wasn't the best in this particular instance and that he should have used his wide shot. I'm not sure why he did, but this is why, like I've said, you've always got to protect yourself. So if you're expecting that interview to come up, this is why you're not going to see it. Like I said, at least I think I did, I've told Chris if he still wants to have a chat, I'm always willing to do that and put it up on the channel. So let's sort of play it by ear. If we see anything else on this matter, it's probably going to be in relation to him wanting to have a chat, so I'll put it up on the channel. If not, as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and thanks for watching.